short weeks away, and Run Pure Sports is gearing up for the season with the best deal in DFS.
For a limited time only, we are offering new members a 15% discount for the life of their subscription, including SaberSim subs. Simply use the promo code NFL15 when subscribing to take advantage of this great deal before our prices go up.
And at RPS, we don't just give you access to one sport. When you subscribe to our premium service, we give you access to all of our content, including NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, and so much more.
And we're not going to charge extra for access to our preseason content either. Our memberships include all of our content, including the NFL preseason. The best DFS players in the industry give you access to their core plays and slate strategies for every sport and for every slate. Simplify your lineup building process by plugging in picks directly from the top players in the world. Watch our premium live streams to gain a huge edge on the competition. Our guys are live up to lock for the biggest slates, walking you through their last-minute decisions, analyzing breaking news and injury alerts for the major sports.
Again, for a limited time only, you can access our industry-leading DFS content for 15% off our already low price. SaberSim packages are included, so sign up today using the promo code NFL15 for 15% off your subscription for life and start building winning lineups today.
Good morning. Good morning. We're already off to a good start. DC and JT here. JT says he's going to bust balls. So by all means, JT, get this shit out of your system so we can get into the slate.
I just want to know what museum you're broadcasting from. I mean, it looks very quaint and a little bit like maybe you're in the home of a hoarder. There's a lot of little things packed into those cabinets. There's a wedding photo. You've told me that you're in the home of someone who collects pigs, which I think is pretty creepy. DC agrees. Simon behind the scenes also agrees that it's a little bit creepy. So what is this? Are you under house arrest or are you like on a legitimate vacation?
I'm in a beautiful mansion in the mountains.
Is that where you're spending all that Vision money?
I am spending all it's free. That's the best part about it, JT. You don't have to spend money. It's just like getting a free Airbnb for a while.
Really?
So it's wonderful. I brought the geriatric cat up with me. She's having a wonderful time. We had a bear come in the garage. That was not good because they fuck shit up. So it's been an interesting time. It's been a fun time, JT. Thanks for asking.
DC, what do you think about men with cats? Assuming you don't have one.
Of course, I don't have a cat for one.
Good.
Oh yeah. Good. That goes without saying. But I have stayed at a few Airbnbs in the mountains in my day, and let me say, there's a lot of hoarders up there. A lot of hoarders in the mountains. I don't know what it is. Like you're living without the the conveniences of modern life, and maybe you're afraid to throw something out. But a lot of places that look a lot like Holden's, and they like.
That's a great point, DC. You're right. Because probably 3 out of every 4 homes out here have just weird shit piled up everywhere.
A lot of weird shit that you're like, why is this here?
Weird shit. You like find it out in the woods, like some fucking carcass, and you take the bones in and they make a pig out of it. There's just weird shit out here. You're right. It's a great point. JT had 5 minutes to talk, didn't make one good fucking point. DC talks 30 seconds. The great points are just coming out of his mouth. It's amazing.
It's going to be one of those days, huh, Holden? All right.
Oh, it's going to be one of those days, my friend.
Why don't you show everybody your sweet pajama pants that you were rocking? Your sweet plaid flannel pajama pants.
all this time, and that's what it took to get us off the free YouTube show.
It's over. It's over. There's been a lot worse things to happen on this channel. There's no question. What do we got? A little 8 gamer today, boys? Do we want to talk a little baseball, or is there not enough time left?
I mean, well, listen, what time is the bet show? Because I know that's a priority for you.
Yeah, that's coming up in about 56 minutes.
All right. So
we have to. You're right.
4 minutes before you kick us out and tell us you have to run to the bet show.
Thanks for reminding me. And I'll tell you what sucks. I have to it's just me and JJ. No Joey Wirt today. So there won't be as much banter just ripping each other. So both of you are invited to the bet show if you want to come on. JT, you don't know shit, but DC, you can come on.
There's no SGPs today, so I guess I'm not allowed.
No single game parlays.
Yeah.
Just one more thing. You want an apology for what, DC? What do I have to apologize to you for?
No, I'm over it. The time has passed.
No more apologies necessary.
I'm just gonna silently hold a grudge till we no longer have any connection. Which will hopefully be sooner rather than later. But
all right. Hit the like button. I forgot this is a free show, so maybe I would not have shown my my booty and my delicious pants over here. But you know what? Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, boys. And hit the like button. Whether you like my butt or not, doesn't matter. We're looking for 300 today. That's the number, JT. And if we don't get it, then we don't give away the plays. And that's fine, though. The subscribers, they'll go over there and find it, right?
They'll enjoy the plays.
How did UFC, MMA, whatever the hell we call it, go last night, DC? I seriously don't know, so let me know.
It was pretty decent. Yeah. I saw a tweet from somebody, forget his name, apologies for that. Chopping first place, always good to see. Had some good lineups myself. So, yeah, I think it was a pretty solid card overall, for sure.
Yeah, it's good. All right, let's get going here. We're at 60. I should hit it myself. 231 watching. That's nice. I'm not on my Ted Bundy runs again. It's not true, Mike. Appreciate that, Chris. I do have a wonderful head of hair. And while, what's his name? GT says he's not jealous. Let's face it. We know he is. Last time he put his fingers through anything on his head, it was probably greasy. Okay, so pitching. DC, I'm looking at this. I kind of like some mid-tier guys. Let me just throw two names out at you. Keller and Watkins. How screwed am I if I go with that pairing this afternoon?
I think you could get away with it. I'm not on the Keller train, but I do like Spencer Watkins. I've liked him kind of these last couple starts. 2 starts ago against the Rays didn't work out that well, only 8 fantasy points, but bounced back from that and kind of pitched more like I expected him to, with another good outing against the Rangers in Texas. So that's 4 out of 5 outings now where Watkins has been above 19 DraftKings points. That's pretty damn good for a pitcher that's 6,500. Now he gets to pitch at home against Pittsburgh. I was on, JT, by the way, speaking of apologies, JT owes me another one, playing Madison Bumgarner over Mr. Dean Kramer, but we can get there. I only reminded of it. I had completely forgotten about it, but, Watkins, I think, is actually probably a better pitcher than Dean Kramer is, I think. And, he gets the same Pittsburgh team. It is really warm, wind blowing out in Baltimore, so there's some risk there. But at 6,500, against the Tigers, I'm willing to roll the dice on that one. Keller, like you mentioned, against Boston, I do think Boston is kind of a team to pick on right now. I just don't know if I want to do it with Keller, but I do have, I guess we're starting at the bottom today. That's all good. It's Sunday morning. But then Cutter Crawford, another guy that I've been talking up these last few starts. I'm impressed with what I've seen from him. Delivered another good outing in Houston last time out, 6 strikeouts. You look at the strikeout to walk ratio for him over the last 5 or 6, kind of similar to Watkins. He's pitching really well, and I really like his arsenal of pitches. He's 6,800 in KC. So I do see builds where, you can get all the bats you want. Maybe you want Toronto, Philadelphia, whatever it is. You can spend down Crawford and Watkins, the 2 guys I'm looking at for cheap, but there are definitely good pitchers to spend up on too. So I think it's one of those slates where you can, at least the way I'm building, kind of starting with offense. And if I need to go with cheap pitchers, I can. If not, certainly happy to spend up on any of Burns, Nola, Kevin Gausman, all at the top. I all expect to have strong games today.
There's some cool weather. I mean, Baltimore has that wind blowing out. Like you said, we got the Phillies 12 miles an hour out to right center.
Yeah.
Kind of like that one for the Schwarbs today. Kansas City, 90s, double-digit winds blowing out today. So, we got winds blowing out at Wrigley at 10 miles an hour. But the rain looks pretty bad, DC. Did you look at the weather there at Chicago yet?
I hadn't looked at the rain. I did notice. I mean, it's going to be good hitting conditions if it holds up. But yeah,
Correct.
We'll figure that.
All right, we'll dig into that a little bit later on. Good. Hey, check your DM in the Discord, Simon. And then the other thing is, before we get to JT, I'm supposed to plug the site. So let's go do that. We're like less than 5 weeks away from the season opener in the NFL and NFL 15. If you want to sign up, and get all this awesome stuff. NFL 15% off your monthly subscription for life of the subscription, including SaberSim. So NFL's coming up. We're all excited about, well, I'm really excited about it. And you'll get core plays, which JT, you've got DC, Tambo. I haven't worked with Tambo in forever. Looking forward to seeing Tambo. Tambo, Big T, JSURab, all our big guys. They'll give you the course, who they're playing, quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end if you need it. They're going to throw it out there. You get the best players in the world, their course, their best team, their course. The playbook goes through every single position, I think including defense. So you got that too. Okay, let's get into things here. Goodbye, Brian C. Have a nice day. JT, let's get into pitching here. Corbin Burns at the top. You'll see Nola, Gossman. I talked to DC about some mid-tier, lower-tier guys like Keller at 7K and our boy Watkins at 6.5. What do you think about paying up today?
Yeah, I only wrote down 4 names when I went through the pitching, and it was pretty simple. Burns, Nola, DC's guy, Cutter Crawford, and then I wrote down Drew Rasmussen. I might not end up playing him, but I think on the Watkins, I keep waiting for this guy to revert back to what he's been. I mean, remember, this guy was signed by the Orioles after he'd been released by a couple of different teams, and it was kind of a surprising move at the time. But to DC's point, he's been very effective in some decent, or I should say tougher matchups as well. So against a Pirates team that strikes out a ton in a park that is pretty big, I think you can play Watkins today at 6.5. I think it's pretty easy to get to even a Burns Nola if you wanted to, with a couple of spend down bats, or going to Burns and Crawford. Because I mean, even last night, a lot of people were on Kansas City, and Nathan Eovaldi pitched pretty well against them. Gave up a home run, couple of runs, but I think I could see Cutter Crawford continuing to, a really impressive start to his career so far this season.
That's it. I mean, it's just a really tight core. There was nothing going on there. I need to go back to DC then, because I need more. Can you give me any more pitchers we can consider today?
Yeah, I mean, I think the top end of it is interesting. JT, you said you have Burns and Nola up there, or Burns and Gausman?
I'm probably not going to play Gausman. Gausman, just the volatility after the strong start has been something that I want to avoid. So in multi-entry, maybe I'll have some of him, but I just don't trust him right now. I don't trust that he's fully over. He was obviously tipping his pitches. And I don't know, this series between the Twins and the Blue Jays, outside of last night, it was mostly on the Minnesota side. They've been hitting the ball, both of these teams. And I don't know, I'm not interested in playing with the Gausman volatility today. He may turn out to be a good play. I'm not saying he's not. It's more that Burns against the Reds, coming off a down outing against Pittsburgh. There's so much swing and miss in the Cincinnati lineup. I like that. Nola against Washington, I rank him lower just because Washington has some young talent. They don't strike out a ton, but Nola's changeup is something that I think is particularly effective against younger hitters. And then Crawford against the Royals. The Royals have, again, some young talent, but Crawford's just been really, really impressive. And that park, even though, it's hot and it's blowing out, it normally plays small. So I feel better about those than I do about chasing Gausman against the Minnesota team that looks like it's coming to life. For as much as we play them and have been disappointed, if you played them the last 2 nights, you probably did pretty well.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do have Burns.
And I'm surprised that you want to play Gausman against the Twins.
Gausman coming off what I think his best start of the year, 40 fantasy points against Tampa Bay, tons of swing and miss. I mean, Minnesota, we haven't seen their lineup yet, but it has been watered down due to some injuries, especially in the outfield. And I don't know, I've seen some shitty pitchers shut down this Twins team all year long, stacking up the Twins. So certainly, the guys that I've been stacking the Twins, if they can shut them down, certainly Kevin Gausman is more than capable of it. So I will say though, I'm mostly using him kind of, I wouldn't say if I have to, but if I've got like a 4-4 build that I like, or a 5-3 that I like, And, I've got that 9,200 for Gaussman. I'm not desperate to change out, a couple of stacks that I really like to get to Nola or Burns. So I'm willing to use Gaussman at the 9,200 with the discount. I do prefer Burns and Nola, but I also do think, come on, Holden, get it together.
Coming in, Holden.
I do think that the ownership will be reflected in the differences of levels of plays that they are, right? I do think you'll see ownership gap on Burns and Nola compared to Gaussman, for reasons that we mentioned, lower strikeout rates for the Twins, a more dangerous offense, but a 50% owned Burns compared to maybe a 20 or 25% owned Gaussman. I don't mind that trade, especially with the discount. So I'm willing to use all three of those guys. I do rank them, I think, the same as you, JT, which is Burns, Nola, Gaussman third. But again, happy to use all three. And then Crawford and Watkins at the bottom. And that's pretty much it for me. I'm not going to use Luzardo, second start back against the Cubs, 9,100. Ashcraft, I don't know why he's 8,900. Can't go there. You could use a Frankie Montas, I think, at 8,700 against St. Louis if you wanted to. But I do prefer those studs up top. Again, in order, Burns, Nola, Gaussman. And then perfectly happy to use Crawford or Watkins or potentially both on some lineups going cheap, 6,800 for Crawford, 6,500 for Watkins. I do expect both guys to pitch well, frankly. So those are the five guys for me, and I'll be limiting to those five.
What do you think of Rasmussen? Because on paper, the matchup is interesting. Rasmussen has, since a really, really good start, when they got his innings up, I think he was on the IL for a little while. And then since he's come back, he's been, I think, lower innings, and the results have been just mediocre. But can't argue with the matchup on a Sunday when a lot of wild things happen on Sunday. A lot of teams just don't show up.
Yeah, he's been solid, right? Right between 9 and 17 DraftKings points for the last 5 or 6 starts. I think that's kind of what you can expect, right, against Detroit, which is fine, I think, on this slate at 7,400. But I do think Crawford and maybe Watkins have a little bit more upside. They're a little bit cheaper. Rasmussen probably would be 6th on my list, but not playing enough lineups today to get to my 6th string starting pitcher. So I totally get the play. I'm willing to play almost anybody against Detroit, and Rasmussen he's definitely better than just almost anybody. So I get that play for sure.
Good point in the chat, Junior. You actually made one. Montas on a 70 pitch count, because what is this? His third start back from that shoulder problem.
All right, he's off the list then. Yeah, don't play Montas.
Montas is going to be limited here.
Yeah, I wouldn't play Montas if he's going to be limited to 70.
70 pitches, you're not taking that. He's just coming back from that shoulder. Maybe 2 starts from now.
Sure.
But not today. Okay, so where are we? 113. We're looking for 300 likes if you want the plays of the day. Good crowd starting to trickle in here. Sitting at 382. I'll remind you once again, I'll probably do this quite often today. NFL 15% off your monthly subscription for life of the subscription, including SaberSim. You're going to get our great optimizer, SaberSim. So you got that. You'll get our cores, our playbook. And then the big thing here is the Discord. I got to throw this out there too, because we have a lot of our insiders, our analysts just hanging out all day in our different Discords. You get it in baseball. You get it in every single sport, by the way. Even tennis, Susie's in there with Matty Ice, all those guys, Fred. So much that we offer here. Check it out. NFL 15% off. Just try it. It's 15% off monthly subs for the life of your subscription. So it's not just the first month. It's the whole thing here. Okay. So after you hit the like button, look back at us. How long is the offer for? I don't know, Matthew Moore. It's usually Hoop.
I got to grab it today.
We're done.
I'm not sure how long it's going to be for you.
Hoop likes to pull those quickly. We're not kidding on this. You got to get in there if you want it.
It could be.
It's not going to be around for long.
It could be NFL 1.5 by the time the season starts. So you just might as well get in. There's so much. Plus, you get all our baseball stuff. You get the cores. You get the playbook today. Might as well just hop in there, okay? Just hop in. Try it out. Dip your foot. You're not going to go broke. You're going to be fine. Everything's going to work out well for you. I can't promise that though, because you might be a complete idiot and things happen, but probably going to be a much better player when it's all said and done. Yes, JT.
No. I will say I didn't even address this. I will say DC. It's not an apology. It's not an apology, but DC was right. Bumgarner, a little bit of bad luck, a couple of bad defensive plays.
But, what a shitty play!
No, it's not a shitty.
What a shitty fucking play that was.
No.
You know, we were all looking at it going, "You're just going to lose, JT."
No.
Who else was it? JSU, both of you guys.
JSU and Title. I mean, we had some formidable opponents on the side of Mad Bum, and it just didn't work out. So DC was right. I'll take the loss on that.
Rockies versus left-handers. Don't do it.
I'll stop with the Rockies. Are good against anything, please.
Versus the left-handers, they just maul them, JT.
No, I didn't maul him.
Hopefully, you just learn your lesson. Can't strike these guys out.
Okay, hold on.
JT gave a nice apology, and you just gotta like stomp him back down. No,
Oh, so now you're gonna jump on JT's side?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, JT, you're right. Don't give him an apology. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He got lucky. Mad Bum's a great pitcher.
So nobody's saying that. It was a price play in a decent matchup and in a place where he pitches well, which is at home, which is what he's done for the last 4 years. Just didn't work out. So I've said
that was a premium show. This is a free show. None of the freeloaders had to go down with the Bumgarner ships.
They did if they played 2 of the 4 quarters.
No, these are freeloaders. They didn't.
My apologies to you guys too.
Oh, that's tremendous. Jeremy F., you never tried it before. Just try it, dude. Come on. It's going to be wonderful. You're going to love it. I promise you. Where is Cape Fowler? Because he is Cape League burner. He's still on vacation. I talked with him. I think we were doing a chat Monday or Tuesday, and the dude is just he's just tearing it up. I think he's going to end up having a 3rd child, JT, when he comes back. It's going to be great. His wife's going to be pregnant. He's not going to have time to do shit. We're going to have to find someone to fill in for Cape League's burner. But that's not till next baseball season. Let's get to the offense here. We'll start game by game. Pittsburgh, Baltimore. DC, tell me why we don't want to pick on Bryce Wilson, who just gave up 3 home runs in his last start up against the Orioles. Well, let's play the Orioles, maybe. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm in on the Orioles here. You know, we've talked about it all season. It's made a dramatic effect on their part. The Orioles moving that left field fence back. Home runs have been way down in Baltimore, but this is a good spot for the Orioles because they don't have to worry about that quite so much. Bryce Wilson pitching from the right side, throws from the right side rather. And the Orioles have a bunch of lefties at the top of their lineup. Mullins, Rushman, Vavra is hitting 3rd for 2K stone minimum. Santander is 4.5K. So for the first 4 Orioles batters still hit from the left side. And this is still a great home run park. If you can go out to center or right field with the short porch, even guys like Odor, I think are in play. And yeah, Bryce Wilson just pretty terrible, bad bullpen behind him, of course, with the Pirates, and awesome hitting weather in Baltimore for a bunch of lefties. So yeah, I'm definitely in on the Orioles today. They are a top 3 stack for me. Always willing to go up against Bryce Wilson. And I think this particular matchup, park, all that stuff sets up pretty damn well for the Orioles. So I am in for sure.
You liking either team from this game? JT, Pirates against Spencer Watkins, Orioles versus Bryce Wilson?
Orioles, Wilson traded from the Braves and becoming another organization that you shouldn't really take their failed prospects. But yeah, I like the Orioles quite a good bit here. Same reasons as DC said, that Wilson's not a very good pitcher. You got a very, very bad bullpen, not quite as bad as the Nationals bullpen, but definitely one of the worst in the league. So I like the Orioles a good bit here. And with the minimum price guy batting 3rd, I mean, it's just same thing as last night, right? We saw it was very easy to fix Scherzer and Rodon with a lot of those cheaper stacks, even as minis. I think the same thing is true today. I think it's going to be very easy to get up to the top end pitchers if you want.
Okay. We'll move on to our second game. JT, why don't you go first on this one? Philadelphia, probably going to be popular today. Everything's working for them. Nice little matchup. Wind's blowing out. Beautiful weather. Beautiful warm weather, I should say. You want some more? You want some Phillies today against the Nats?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Corey Abbott coming off a career type game against, I think it was the Mets. We stacked against him that night. It didn't work out. Go right back to it. Phillies have been so hot. And once Abbott's out of there, I mean, this bullpen's absolutely taxed. I mean, this poor guy, Jordan Weems, number 1 for the name, number 2 for the face, number 3 for just how he's getting dragged every single night. They're bringing him in, and he's just giving up bombs and a ton of runs. So I think you see the Phillies put up a lot of runs today.
DC, talk to me here about these Orioles, and then Terrin Vavra. He's batting third at second base. He's min price on DK. I mean, how is he not in the mix?
He's got to be, yeah. I mean, JT mentioned it when we were talking about the Orioles. You can fit. I mean, there's 5 Orioles I want. It's the top 4, and then I kind of like the cheap Rugi Odor play for 2.3K. You can fit those 5 guys. Take Burns and Nola, and then have decent money left for your 3 one-offs. I mean, that's I assume that'll be a somewhat popular build, but it's hard to argue with it whatsoever. So yeah, I'm in on Terrin Vavra for the Orioles. Back to the Phillies. They are my number 1 today. We've seen this a lot in Philadelphia recently. This weather, hot, humid, wind blowing out. It's a great home run park anyway. It's the best home run park on this slate. And Corey Abbott, I mean, he's a Nationals farmhand scrub, right? Yeah, he pitched last, but like this team has no pitching, and anyone that like wasn't able to make this pitching roster all year, you can kind of have a good idea of what kind of stuff they have. I think that's true of Corey Abbott. And then the bullpen behind him, man, it's just brutal. They've also been taxed this series. Philadelphia's gotten to them a couple games in a row. They also have no left-handers in the entire pen, which is important for this game. It's obviously good for a guy like Kyle Schwarber, who I do think is the top overall bat on this slate, as he gets to face righties the whole game. But, some of these guys would be pinch hit risks, guys like Derek Hall, Bryson Stott, Brandon Marsh. But with no lefties in the pen, these guys become much safer, and it's just a parade of bad right-handed pitching. So I'll take a shot on guys Stott, Marsh, Stubbs, even Nick Matone at the bottom. All those guys have enough power in Philadelphia to do damage against these Nationals pitchers. You can obviously play the right-handed bats too. I mean, Hoskins, Bohm, Castellanos are all very reasonably priced, but I do prefer the lefties here. I really like the 6-1 wraparound stack: Stott, Marsh, Stubbs, Matone, Schwarber. That's another one you can play 2 stud pitchers with if you want to, with the kind of the Philly lefty scrubs. I think Derek Hall is going to get one. He has smashed bad right-handed pitching. I've been on him and Schwarber kind of in tandem a lot this season. Whenever they get a bad right-handed pitcher with, a projected lot of right-handers coming out of the bullpen as well. So yeah, I can't really say much more about the Phillies. I think all 9 of their guys are good plays here. Again, I do lean the lefties, but yeah, load up on this team. I think they're going to do some damage. I'll be really surprised if Abbott is able to pitch well again, and it's just going to get worse from there with that Nationals bullpen. So number 1 stack for me for the Phillies, and pretty easily, honestly, today. So excited to see them hit.
Okay, let's check on the likes here. Let me go back. We are at 159 with 440 watching. So again, we're looking for 300 today. I know it's way out there. We got about 25, 30 minutes for you to go.
People. Come on, we're up on a Sunday morning. It's bright and early out here in the mountains for Holden. He's up in his hoarder house. Hit the light.
I did not want to be awake either, but
I can tell.
I do love doing these Sunday shows. I'm serious. Like, it just gets you ready for the NFL. That's coming up. JT Hayes, he's laughing about something. What happened? Your penis pop out?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Looking forward to that one, buddy. Dirty Mike. I'm playing 100% Nick Senzel. Okay.
Sharp play.
Go for it, Dirty Mike. Jason Garnett. Do not play Odor. I love Orioles. Toss Odor from it. Main reason, we believe Odor is kind of guy who will only homer randomly lefty. I'm JS. What does that mean, JS?
I think Jason is trying to tell you that he identifies as a they. And so when he says we, that's exactly what he means.
What the fuck are you talking about?
No, don't worry about it, Holden.
All right, good. I'm not following you on this one. We're getting close to 200, so hit the like button, jabronis. Anyways, we've got another game to get into. As a matter of fact, we got 6 more. We got Tampa Bay, Detroit. I am interested. This is the one I'm interested in your thoughts, guys, because we got Manning on the mound. Every time I do a show, one or both of you say he sucks. But then we got Tampa Bay's offense on there. DC, any Tampa Bay today?
Yeah, I think you can go to Tampa Bay. They're not really well, I just don't play them very often just because their lineup's so uninspiring. Even when they have a high total, I can't really find guys that I'm super excited to play. Brandon Lowe, whatever it is, I think is the exception. I think he's a good play on both sites, but I don't love this park. Just super hard to hit home runs in Detroit with especially wind blowing in today. So yeah, maybe a one-off, a Brandon Lowe one-off against Manning, but yeah, I don't know, JT. I can't get excited about most of these bats, plugging them into my lineup. So I do think the Rays will probably put up 5 or 6 runs, but I don't know if it's going to come, via the long ball or via anything that gets you to the top of a tournament. So yeah, we talked about Rasmussen. I'm not going to any Tigers or anything like that, but mostly a fade of this game for me.
Yeah, the other thing with Tampa Bay is you don't know if they're going to come from guys who are in the starting lineup or guys who hit for them in the 4th inning. And that's the thing. This team, we saw it with the Giants last night. I was looking at the pricing last night. I'm like, look at all these Giants, like min-priced or a little bit above. And honestly, they should be because they're getting 2 at-bats a game. And DC, I don't know if you saw this. I was watching in a very disgruntled fashion, both games of that Mets-Atlanta doubleheader. The Mets get Darren Roof, and now they're like the Giants of the East Coast.
Who they get?
So Darren Ruff. So I don't know if you saw that, but Showalter now pinch hitting for guys in the 5th inning. It was the most amazing thing to see. Something to keep an eye on. The Mets aren't on this slate. There is a guy in chat who wants to play all the pitchers and stacks who are not on the slate. Good luck. But
is that really me posting in the chat?
No, that wasn't you. But really interesting stuff out of the Mets now that they've got this a really deep bench. Tyler Naquin, Darren Ruff, and Buck showing some Gabe Kapler, Kevin Cash tendencies yesterday.
Yeah, I know people have differing opinions on this, including I think on Friday BigT was talking about, well, you're stacking it up, you're hoping things go right and maybe they get the whole game. But like personally, I don't play very many guys who I think have a chance to get pinch hit for in the 5th inning. That's just nothing worse to me than being out in front of a tournament and you need a little more damage from your cheap bat, and he comes out in the 5th inning with the bases loaded and 1 out.
That's why every time the Giants have Austin Slater leading off, he's like 30% owned, and I'm like, you absolutely need him to hit a home run his first at bat for that to pay off.
I just never play those guys personally. So maybe, I'm not even saying that's right necessarily, but personally,
right.
It's just something
you can catch lightning in a bottle. But when you look and you see what these managers are doing, they're doing it. Kevin Cash every game, Gabe Kapler every game. I don't know what Showalter is going to do. Just something to think about as we go into next week, and knowing that this team has a much deeper bench now, and they'll use it. But I think based what we're talking about, it's guys like Brandon Lowe, Arozarena. Those are really the only guys, and I just don't want to play like as a one-off. Fine, I don't want to play a mini where who the hell knows what's going to happen. So I like these other teams a lot more.
Good point, and I'll reiterate my Phillies point again. No lefties out of the pen for Washington. It's a big deal on the slate when you're looking for some of those cheap Philly bats who are in a great home run spot anyway. And this applies to the Nationals in general. I mean, subscribers, I'm obviously on the premium show most of the time. I talk about it all the time with the Nationals, but this is the best team on a kind of a night-to-night basis to pick off. Not necessarily the best hitters, but any lefties with power become really good plays because they get a good matchup the whole time, and then their pinch hit risk goes way down. Just something to keep in mind with the Nationals, because until they get a lefty in that pen, which I don't know, maybe they just don't have any more in the minor leagues. I feel like they would have called one up if they had one available. They're going to get blasted by left-handed power.
I'm with you. Anything else you'd like to add there, JT Hayes, or are we done with that?
No, that covers it. Thank you, Ollie.
Do you want to plug the site and tell everybody how awesome it is? Because I'm sick of doing it because I'm just too good at
it. You are just too good at it. I'll give you that. But yeah, I mean, the site's great. Look at us. We're here. It's Sunday morning. You get core plays. You get a playbook. Uncle T is working on the playbook as we speak. He says he'll have it up in just a few minutes. I'm sure it's going to be great. I always check that out. The Uncle T playbook. It's coming out shortly. So you get that with your premium membership if you sign up with NFL 15 right now, like you should, because like we said, Hoop, he doesn't like to give it away. So it's going to be for a couple of days, going to give you, a little bit of a discount. And once it goes, it's gone. It's not like it's going to go from 15 to 10 to 5. It's just boom. We'll be back to, you get 25% off your first month, and that's it, instead of 15% for life.
You'll get 0, just like if you play Madison Bumgarner. You're not going to get
0. You didn't get 0.
It had to be close to 0. It had to be
0% discount. You get the Mad Bum discount.
You get a 2.15% discount.
2.1. That's not as good as 15. So you might as well just do it right now. NFL 15. Move your ass on. Righty then. Toronto, Minnesota. Here we go, JT. Do I want some Toronto today? If I feel like Matt Chapman has just been on a roll for the last month or so now. I know his couple games haven't been beautiful, but can I stack some of these bats with the Blue Jays?
Yeah, I like Toronto. Not as much as some of these other teams, but I do like Toronto against Chris Archer a little bit. Archer's probably going to go 4 or 5 innings, and then you're going to get that bullpen. But one point that I'll make is they did improve their bullpen pretty significantly at the deadline. So if they're ahead, that's the risk there, is that you're going to get some of these better arms. But I do like stacking Toronto in multi-entry. They fall below Baltimore and Philly for me, though, as a whole on the slate.
DC, do you want to get in on any of these guys?
Yeah. I'll talk about Toronto first.
Yeah.
This is another, I think, really, really good spot for the Blue Jays. The Twins, kind of going back to that bullpen talk, I think it's pretty damn relevant on the slate. The Twins, who are normally cautious with their bullpen anyway, have had to kind of burn through. I think they're who I think are their 4 best relievers, I believe, will all be unavailable today after pitching each of the last 2 days. Yohan Duran, Michael Fulmer, Griffin Jacks, Jorge Lopez, I think all won't be able to pitch. You get those 4 guys out of there. This is one of the worst bullpens in the league after those 4 dudes. Those guys can pitch. Lopez and Fulmer, of course, were additions at the trade deadline. But before that, the Twins, it was really just Jackson Duran, obviously followed the Twins very closely, that the Twins had any trust in whatsoever. That's why they acquired and paid a handsome price to get 2 pretty good relievers at the deadline. They don't have much left, especially in a matchup for Chris Archer, who is essentially limited to 5 innings, right? On his good outings, he can give you 5. On his bad outings, less than that. So this could get rough for the Twins. If they're able to get to Archer early, put 4 or 5 on him, get him out of there early, like the Twins are, obviously if Archer gives them 5 and they kind of slow down the Blue Jays, they could be okay. But if the Blue Jays can do damage off Archer, which certainly is, well within the realm of possibility, this could get ugly for the Twins bullpen, where they're struggling to get through 9 innings. I love targeting teams like that, especially against a team like the Blue Jays, who we know will pour it on late, right? Some teams kind of do lay off the gas, but we saw with the Blue Jays, they put up 28 runs against the Red Sox just a couple of weeks ago. This is a team that is willing to keep hitting for all 9 innings. The Twins are a team. I'm not saying this is going to happen for sure, but they are a team willing to run out position players to finish a game. And this potentially would be one of those games where we see, the Twins teeing off late because they don't want to burn through their bullpen. They're in the middle of a pennant race, and they're low on bullpen arms right now. So if you get the Blue Jays up, 5-6-0 after 4 or 5 innings, which, opposite Kevin Gausman, right, with Chris Archer on the hill, that seems certainly possible to me. It could be a slugfest in the late innings for the Blue Jays here. So, yeah, they are my number 2 And I think they could actually go a little bit under the radar today. A lower total than I expected to see, sitting around 4.5 for the Blue Jays. I think, the individual matchup for these righty hitters against Chris Archer isn't perfect. Sometimes I let that kind of, those kind of numbers throw me off of it, but I'm not going to let those numbers throw me off this matchup, because Archer by no means is some lock to shut this team down. And if they're able to get to him early, I think it could get really good. So I do have the Blue Jays as my number 2 stack behind the Phillies, partly due to the great bullpen matchup that these Blue Jays should have in the second half of this game.
Okay. JT, do you want to look at this here and give me a little breakdown on Toronto?
Yeah, I like them. They're below Philadelphia and Baltimore for me, but in my lineups, I'm definitely going to have some Toronto stacks. And, I don't think I'll get to Minnesota. But like I mentioned with Gausman, the volatility has been there more so this season. It's almost like 2 seasons ago where he'll have that blow up game. I don't know that this is it, but that's why I'm kind of avoiding him. So I might just avoid both sides of that.
Me and Big T, who also enjoys losing money stacking the Twins, have been talking about it. The Twins kind of come through in some of these weird ass spots. They did it against Garrett Cole earlier in the year. It wouldn't absolutely shock me if the 2% owned Twins team, because Gausman can give up home runs, right? If he leaves that splitter up, he's certainly capable of it. I'm not going to get to the Twins, but wouldn't shock me with them. They kind of do the opposite of what I expect hitting wise on too many slates. So yeah, I guess we'll see. But yeah, I like I said, I am willing to use Gausman myself if you need a little bit of savings from Burns and Nola.
JT, Mike says you're making fun of us with pronouns. I identify as a toaster and I am strong. So will you stop making fun of people that want to be recognized as something other than a male or a female?
So I didn't make fun. I explained that was the pronoun. That's why they were saying we. And people need to
take
stop
this very seriously.
JT.
I take this very seriously.
I know. Let's go. Let's move on.
So we'll move on to our 5th game here. Oh yeah, when I bring it up, I got to move on. When you bring it up, you can go on a tangent for 5 to 7.
I didn't go on a tangent at all.
Oh, I know you didn't. Not
the good people. The good people in charge of YouTube, I feel, might be out on the West Coast and might not approve of our making fun of pronouns. We got to be careful here.
We're not. That's why we're not doing it. That's why we're not doing it.
Pronouns totally overrated. Boston, Kansas City today. We want to mess with this guy. It's nice weather, DC, but do we want to mess with this?
I'm not going to. Yeah, I mean, I talked about Cutter Crawford at length at the top of the show. I am in on him. Another guy that I don't know. I haven't looked at ownership projections, but I can't imagine it's going to be too high for Cutter Crawford with the healthy total that the Royals will fall short of for the 100th straight game. It seems like with the Royals, do they ever get to their total, JT? It feels like they're like 1 or 2 runs short every single night.
The Royals are another team that we sometimes play a little bit more than we should.
Guilty, absolutely guilty.
It's always so tempting because look at these prices. I mean.
Yeah,
they're like the prices. They're like the Giants' prices last night, except that Mike Matheny's never going to pinch hit anyone unless they break.
I'm not sure Mike Matheny even knows he's allowed to pinch hit.
Right. Yeah. Do you remember when when the new rule came out about the ghost runner?
Yeah,
and he didn't realize that you could actually have someone else run and they wouldn't come out of the lineup. It was fantastic. I think Matheny's in the same boat.
Yeah, he needs to go. The Royals need a big revamping, but I guess maybe a topic for another day.
ET, are you against Buck Showalter too? You kind of threw some shade out. Did you just hate old people?
No, I was. It's interesting. We've seen a much different Buck Showalter than the last time he managed, which I think is impressive because the thing about him was he was such a hard ass disciplinarian that players just kind of tuned him out. He's got a veteran club, which this wouldn't work with. I mean, I can't think of a rookie on this team really that's doing anything. And yet what he's done, I think personally he's the manager of the year so far, with what he's done in the first half, with the injuries that they've had, managing around the DeGrom situation, which is just bizarre. Any way you slice it, the Scherzer injury, I think it was Tyler McGill going on the IL. He's done a fantastic job, and he's managed very well. So no, it's guys like that don't evolve, like the Matheny's of the world. I don't know what they were thinking in Chicago with La Russa. I mean, I don't know who thought that was a good idea. It's obviously not working out. The team's clearly not inspired. This is a team with a lot of talent. And they get shut down last night absolutely shut down by Dane Dunning the night before, shut down. And no, I think Showalter's done a great job.
All right, let's continue here. Where are we on the likes? JT, we need 300. We're at 200. About 15 minutes remaining, 524. That's a lot of people watching today. Just do that so I don't have to keep bringing it up. Good God, people. NFL 15% off the life of your subscription. And you also get our optimizer Saber Sim, which I think if people, if you look at the subs that are here, they love the Saber Sim. They talk about it all the time. So you're getting a lot. Promo code NFL 15 right now. 15% off life of your subscription with the Saber Sim included. We didn't do anything on Boston, Kansas City, right? We're done with that, guys. Stick a fork in it. JT, just get rid of it.
Only thing I'll say about this game is Verdugo in the middle of that lineup is too cheap at 2.8. So Verdugo's a guy who makes good one off.
What about Cincinnati, Milwaukee? You want to take a stab on the Brewers today against Ashcraft?
Yeah, so I'm in on Burns. Not going to be playing any Cincinnati bats, and I mean the Brewers can certainly get to Ashcraft in this bullpen. It's just not my favorite spot. So if I have some, it'll be like my sixth team that I go to.
So I'll just get your thoughts on the next game then. Yankees and Cardinals. The Yankees and the Cardinals. We got Wainwright and Montas. Again, Montas, 70 pitches is about the limit there for him. I don't like picking on either one of these guys, GT, especially Wainwright. It's like, oh, he's in a great spot. No, that dude's just too crafty. He defies analytics. So why bother? What do you think?
Yeah, this is mostly a stay away for me. I mean, I know it's hot, but it was hot there last night, and I think I'm just crossing this game off.
Okay. What about you, DC?
Which one should I start with, Holden?
Go with the Yankees because they're facing Wainwright.
Yeah. I guess I'm kind of with you guys. Aaron Judge right now is one of those players that like Big T always talks about not taking a guy out of your stack to upgrade a hitter, but I'm kind of willing to do it with Aaron Judge to get Aaron Judge as a one-off, just how good he's been. If I can find like the 2K to upgrade a bat at the bottom of my stack to Aaron Judge, I'm willing to do that. He's just been so on fire. But yeah, I'm not stacking this the Yankees full team. Certainly not playing Wainwright at 8,400 with the pitching options we have today, and really no interest in the Cardinals either. Montas, I think would have been an interesting play if he wasn't limited to what we say 70 pitches. We think something like that for Montas coming off the bereavement list. So you can't play him either. And then of course the Yankees have a good bullpen behind him. So yeah, looks like a pretty easy game to just move on from. Not going to play many Yankees or Cardinals outside of maybe a share or two of Aaron Judge. And then going back to Cincinnati and the Brewers, no Reds for me against Burns. I expect him to bounce back from that rough performance against Pittsburgh. Looks like you just write it off, right? He didn't quite have his command, walked 5 guys. I would expect him to be back to his normal self and dominate this Reds team. What is it like? They're going to play like 6 right-handers. I mean, this is a AAA team, right? Outside of, I don't know, Joey Votto and Jonathan India, who really haven't been that good themselves. So you got to expect Burns to dominate here, rack up the strikeouts. I do think he's the SP1. And the Brewers, I think they're a little interesting against Ashcraft, who hasn't really missed many bats, but he also gets a lot of ground balls. Those types of pitchers, right? Guys who give up balls in play, but don't give up maybe a ton of home runs. Those are pitchers I usually like to stack against because you got to string together some hits. So maybe you go that way with the Brewers, but I have them quite a ways behind the Phillies, the Orioles, slipping my mind right now, but the third team that I liked,
Jays.
the Blue Jays, yeah, the Phillies, the Blue Jays, and the Orioles, my top three. I'm mostly sticking to those three teams offensively, frankly. So definitely like Burns, but that's mostly it from this game. Rowdy Tellez, I think, is a good one-off against Ashcraft as well, if you need a first baseman.
Hey, is Santander better from the left side or the right side? I can't remember. I guess I could look it up, but do we know?
You can play it from either side.
Either side's fine.
Yeah.
Santander. All right, let's get to our last game here. I don't think they're getting the plays. They're 225. We need 300. JT, would you be okay if I lowered it to 275 just to give him a shot for the end of the show, or is it just screw it? 300's a lot, but I don't fuck around.
Well, there's almost 550 people watching.
Yeah.
I don't think that's all that much. And like you said, if people just came in and hit it and we got to 300, you would stop talking about it. We wouldn't even have to mention it if people just hit it the minute they went in. So it's pretty easy.
It's not like we're asking a whole lot here. You just got to click the button.
It's a very low bar here. Come in, enjoy the free entertainment, and they refuse to do that. And again, we know that some of this is our own subscribers who are jealous and selfish and don't want to share the plays. So we're dealing with that as well. So it is what it is.
It's a rough world that we live in, guys. It's a rough world. So we do have one more game. Screw 'em holding. It's KNB Squid. Just help us out, KNB Squid. Let's just go. We're almost at 275 or 524 watching. JT, any Miami and the Cubs. And then DC, you and I got to talk about weather a little bit too, because we do have some weather hanging out around here. And I don't think it is great in Chicago, where we should have some rain, but the wind's blowing straight out. Talk to me here, DC.
Yeah.
I think I said JT first, but I'm going to go to you because the weather.
Good choice. Good choice.
See, JT? Good choice, he says.
So this game, I think it would be interesting from a offensive perspective if the weather felt totally safe, which it doesn't to me. I mean, it's about to or is starting to rain pretty hard, I think, in Chicago right now, and a lot of rain. You know, a big storm cell coming behind it that could last. I don't know what you're seeing, JT, like 3-4 hours of rain starting kind of right now. Could clear and they could play. I mean, I think, yeah, exactly. There you go. You got a good visual of it there. That's coming, moving west to east
now
and gonna be raining hard in Chicago for a long time. Again, this game doesn't start for a couple hours, so maybe it looks like it'll clear and you could go to this game, but I don't think I like this game enough to kind of wait around for that and skip some of these early games. So probably just gonna write this one off, right, and not risk it. I do think most likely they probably wait the rain out and they end up playing, but that's not the sweat I want on my Sunday fun day, JT. I don't want the sweat of will this game play, because there's not anyone in this game that I'm dying to play anyway. And you also know when the weather comes through like that in Chicago, like we're talking about, hot and humid and the wind blowing out, I can switch on you, right? Especially when you get a storm coming through there and all of a sudden you've got these hitters that you weren't that excited about and the wind's blowing in and it's like cooler and you got to sweat if the game's going to play at all. And, I don't really want that many guys against Jesus Luzardo, who's a good pitcher when he's on his game. It would have been the Cubs righty bats that I would be kind of most interested in matchup wise, guys like Contreras, Happ, Suzuki, but I don't love the matchup with Luzardo. And then Miami, I mean, I do like the matchup with Sampson and this Cubs bullpen, but which Miami guys are you really excited to play here? I mean, they got some cheap dudes, right? Like Luan Diaz and JJ Bleday, a top prospect for them, are cheap, but there's a lot of cheap guys on this slate. So I guess a long way of saying my plan is to mostly fade this last game.
Okay. JT, do you want to play anything from this game?
No, I mean, it is the Marlins' only trip into Chicago this year, but on the flip side, there's not going to be any real concern about having to make this game up between these two teams.
Can't they just scrap it, right, and stick at 161?
Yes. It's not going to impact anything in terms of the playoffs. So I think I'll just forget about it.
Okay. We are Dunsky here with the offenses. We are Dunsky with the pitching. We've got two. Oh, you know what, guys? You get to 11 within the next minute or so, you're going to be set. We'll give you the plays of the day, okay? But first, let me plug this one more time. 15% off the life of your subscription with the code NFL15. We're back. I mean, we're here. Preseason's here. We got preseason content, NFL. We'll take you right through the baseball season, the end of the baseball season. We'll still be doing shows for baseball. Before you know it, NBA, NHL going to be back. We still got MMA. We still got golf. You get everything that we have here. So much to get in on. You just see JT, DC, Big T. Do we have anybody that goes by a fucking name around here? JT, JSU, Keith Falik. I mean, my God, people. Can we get some real names?
I was Pete for a while, but I'm back to
yeah, you figured out your Discord. That was really disappointing.
I didn't figure it out. I just changed it. I had to
change it. All right, we hit it. So let's do it.
We didn't hit 300. Why are you?
No, I gave him a 275. How about, you know what? If you want JT's play, get to 300. DC will give his play right now, and I'll come back with mine. If you want the real play of the day, get to 300. DC, what is the mom's basement play of the day?
Well, it's between a number of left-handed Philly bats. I didn't want to go with Kyle Schwarber. Feels like a little too easy to take the most likely home run guy on the slate. So I'll go down the lineup a little bit to Brandon Marsh hitting 7th. Trade acquisition of the Phillies. Hasn't hit that well this season. I acknowledge it, but this matchup is prime for him. I talked about the lack of lefties out of the Nationals bullpen, so I think you'll get the full game here from Marsh, and he does have power. Just doesn't get to it very often, but I think he's got a chance, especially in this park, especially in these matchups. So Brandon Marsh, mom's basement play of the day.
Brandon Marsh, man, it's a hell of a call right there. If you're stacking the Phillies, what do you think about a little switch from Schwarber to Judge to get a little different, or is that asinine?
No, you got to have Schwarber in there.
Got to have the Schwarbs over Judge.
I think.
Okay. And then you get that free dude Vavra with the Orioles. You can really get you can get crazy with this fucking lineup today. I like it. 284. You're not getting. You're not going to get JT's play. It looks like
they got to 275 for DC's, but
for DC that was good. We had to mix it up a little bit though. We had to mix it up and get rid of them.
I wonder if we did the opposite order, if they would have got to 300.
No.
No
chance. No chance they would have gotten to it. I don't know if
no chance. I'm giving it some chance.
I don't know if
they're just feeling good today.
I don't know if my guy's going to be in the lineup today, but I got him in my Toronto stack, and I fucking love him. And his name is Matt Chapman. I'm looking for a little bomb this afternoon for Matt Chapman. So that'll be the edibles, whatever play you want to call that. And that means we got 3 minutes. You got 11 more to get in about 2 minutes, because where do I have to go after this, JT? Where do I have to go after this?
Holden, you're going to the bet show, the Run Pure Bet show, and you're going to break down. What are you going to break down today? Is there NASCAR?
We're probably going to do the whole card. We're going to do the whole card. Problem is, I wake up in the morning and I look at just like the early slate. So like JJ's going to have to carry the show in the afternoon games, which it's really interesting to see the Mets and the Braves at 4:00 today. It's kind of cool. I wish they'd do that more.
Yeah, that's listen, kind of glad it's not on the slate in a way, because I think it would be almost impossible not to just jam in DeGrom. But DeGrom and Strider, DC, what do you think about that? I mean, we get to watch DeGrom and Strider today. As a matter of fact, that's the reason why a lot of people are not drinking yet, because they want to be sober enough to enjoy Jacob DeGrom and Spencer Strider, which, by the way, who knows? This may be the last time you see Jacob DeGrom in a Mets uniform. This may be the last time you see him on a baseball field this season. You never know with him.
Because his arm's going to fall off?
Something like that. That situation just bizarre. Either it's very, very, very under the radar shrewd of the Mets to be like, you know what? This guy's got like about 125 innings where he could stay healthy, and we're going to wait until August to play him. That would be something that I would just have to tip my hat and say that's impressive.
Yeah, I have a Jacob DeGrom theory that he's never actually been hurt. He just like claims it. I mean, he doesn't like the MRI there's never any surgery. It's always just like,
it's always a different issue though. It's like, it's crazy. It's the oblique, it's the shoulder, it's the elbow, it's the forearm.
But then he comes back throwing harder than anybody ever has in like the history of baseball every single time. It's like, how hurt were you really? If you can like, because he'll be out there throwing 101 mile per hour fastballs, like 70 of them, and then he'll be like, my arm hurts, and sit out for 2 months and come back and do the same thing. I think his contract, I think, is almost up. My theory is he's saving his arm for one more big contract, and he's going to like tell I don't know.
If you're a major league team, seeing what's gone on with him, knowing how great he is, how confident are you investing?
No, they're going to be more confident because he's going to tell him. He's going to be like, I was faking the whole time.
Oh, sure.
And now I'm good to go.
All right, JT, give your fucking play. This has gotten asinine. Even we're at 304.
Maybe he's like that guy. What was the old show with the guy who was like part, robot, the Bionic Man? maybe he's got some titanium steel in his arm.
Though, drinking some beers during DeGrom Strider does sound like a pretty good Sunday afternoon. Yeah. That's going to be good.
But you know what? We're going to do it after we watch Brett Phillips hit a home run.
Oh, Brett.
Oh, wow. Brett Phillips?
Yeah. Yep.
Is he going to hit it with his glove? What the fuck? How's he going to do that?
Brett Phillips, man, he's 2-2. He always does this. He always comes in. Now he doesn't even have to worry about being pinch hit. There's no concern in his mind about if I don't do it well, this at bat, my next one, he's going to send up the bat boy. Brett Phillips.
I regret giving my DeGrom injury faking filibuster to get the people to 300 only to get the Brett Phillips.
Wait a minute. Brandon Marsh is better than Brett Phillips?
Oh yeah.
I will take.
I think they both.
Do we need to double down on the Kramer and Bumgarner bet?
I like both. I like both those plays. Don't be hurtful. You got one. Fair. You finally got one on me, and now, now this is what you want to do.
I should have retired from touting finally defeating JT.
Don't drag me. Don't drag me because I've been very gracious the other times where we've got
shut up. I gotta go. NFL 15% off the life of your subscription. Make sure you do it. Thank you, everybody. I didn't think we'd get to 300, which is why I set it so high, but we did. You guys were awesome. I think that Brett Phillips is going to hit 3 dongs today. So JT,
at least 2. Double dong Brett Phillips, baby.
We're setting the bar high. DC, wonderful to see you. JT, you too. Simon, get us out.
Breeze.
Simon.